all the way on the line over here on the right is what puts them under pressure as well. So there's a couple soft areas in their defense that you got to be aware of. So what this is saying is basically this guy on the left has got the ball, right? Now, this situation either becomes a boca where you surround this player, we have the ball, but you surround this player down low here, and then this player makes a decision on the far side to either go deep to the right and push the three players forward, which I prefer, or the three players rotate back and then this guy goes up into the half space, right? But everyone's got to understand where the half space is here, right? So this guy's vacating the half space. He shouldn't. So a lot of times, the other part of it is if you're taught to run to open space because you're open and then just stand there, the problem is a lot of time, rather than just stand still in the weakness of the defense, you tend to be 3 or 4 feet or more away from where you need to be. So this guy was in the right spot and then he just moves because he's been taught to just randomly move on the soccer field. So once you're in the right spot, hang out there, read the mechanics. If you need another spot, go find another spot, but go right to the spot where you need to be and then wait, hang out there. And then trust your players to be good enough to get you the ball. So he kind of jogs, right? He was in the right spot, and he kind of jogs to almost the right spot, right? Now, they're now in a 3-man front, right? So ideally we don't want to be in any kind of 4-0 position against a 3-man front. 4-0 is a blanket 4 across the back, a stacked fixo, a double stacked fixo, which is this. As this guy comes backwards, he's essentially holding up the same spot as this player, or a skewed 3-1. We don't want to be in that against a 3-man front. We want to be against a 3-man front. We want to be up here in the post and then checking down. So this guy was from half space to half space, and he's creating problems. Every time he starts doing this, the defense starts getting stronger, right? So if you recognize the 3-man front, mine's going to be a 3-man front, you have to put the post in, which means this player would then put the post back in, correct his mistake before we made any progress forward. He put the post in and then check down to space. And then these guys would probably check back and adjust accordingly, right? But against a 3-man front, you want to be essentially man-to-man. You want to be 3 in a line and the post in. So if I say post in or post out, it has to do with their front. If they're in a 2-man front, we can be in a double stack fixo. We can be in a 4-0. We can be in a skewed 3-1. There's a bunch of looks we can give them that don't require a pure post. A 3-man front requires a post. And if the goalie hasn't touched the ball, it requires a post, maybe even behind. So you can go all the way back here in this space, right? Here we go. So the only other option against a 3-man front is a boca, where you isolate one of their 3 attackers and then you open up the floor behind. But here we go. This guy, he played the ball early into the half space. As the guy got there, it wasn't bad, right? Because he kind of got right to this point where the defense was vulnerable. But as you'll see, because he didn't make it all the way to where he was supposed to be, he's going to run out of space going forward the other way. So now we're under pressure. We got to do it again. So ideally, what would happen now is it's a 3-man front again. So for this kind of shape, we would do a boca. So everyone would pinch in here, and this guy would disappear all the way back in this space here. And then when the ball gets played back into this place here, everyone else rushes forward. It's a 1-3. And because the goalkeeper hasn't touched the ball, then the goalkeeper would come in and it's really a 2-3. We had no goalkeeper, right? If we can even sub the goalkeeper on the offensive inbound, we will try that. And we'll be anticipating the 2-3. So some games, we have like one person is the goalkeeper, the other player is the fly goalkeeper, right? So for offensive inbounds, where they're gonna go through a 3-man front, we may be squeezing all 3 forwards here, opening up the floor back here, and have Connor or Eli somewhere in here as the attacker, right? And whoever's got the goalkeeper gloves would be on the bench. Whoever's got the 6-man kit would be in the middle, which is basically a penny over a regular shirt, right? Once the boca occurs, which is squeeze here, open up the floor here, all 3 of their players would run forward as these guys try and pick up the extra man. There'll be a moment of chaos. and it should work. It actually works pretty cleanly. Anyway, here you have a 3-man front. You have a stacked fixo against a 3-man front. This guy is supposed to be in the post here or in the half space there, right? So again, it's not going to come off clean. It's not horrendous because there's a weakness here and he's in it. This guy over here should be in the half space on the wide side, or he should be here in this half space, right? So we do have to help each other out for those guys who don't understand what's going on. But there you see, this is where the half space is. And again, this guy's 2 feet from where he's supposed to be, and it's going to make a difference. And this guy's 10 feet from where he's supposed to be, and it's going to make a difference, right? That's the bottom line. So you can see at this level, it makes it, guys, hang on, guys. Guys, you got to have masks on. You can't get anywhere near the kids right now because they're not out there yet. So you might as well just hang out here. Oh, you can do that too. Sorry, guys. So here, that's a double fixo formation, right? And against the 3-man front, it's not great, but it's not horrendous either. It would be much better if this guy was over where he's supposed to be, right? Then this defender would feel much less comfortable. This defender would feel much less comfortable, right? And then if this guy was over where he was supposed to be, right, it would be an option to hit them blindside, right? So you're getting a situation where these players have been conditioned by outdoor soccer or how they've been taught, but that's a kind of a boca right there, right? If that was a true boca, this guy would have been collapsed all the way already, right? But you can see where if he was collapsed all the way in here and the ball got swung back, then as these guys turned to attack this way, they would have lost track of this guy, right? But instead, he's hanging out 2 steps too slow from where he's supposed to be. But it's not horrendous, right? Again, once you realize that there's that we've concentrated their defense here, and then we've opened up back left, these guys should not be running back. They should be running up, right? And the goalkeeper should come in and be the second option, right? So there should be a 2-on-1 here with everyone heading north, which is Boca, which we did last weekend. So when this guy eventually gets the ball, these guys should be much, much deeper, right? But again, it's not horrible. Now this guy's in the half space. He's where he's supposed to be. So now we're going to get a little bit of success, and the play is almost going to come off. There's the Boca, right? So this guy's got to read Boca here, and he's got to go either this way or back this way to restart. But we set up Boca with a guy in the half space. This should be they should be very, very vulnerable. And there is the stack fixo against a 2-man front, right? So it's no longer a 3-man front. It's a 2-man front and the stack fixo, so they're completely messed up. So we actually got him here. And the play probably didn't come off just because you can see where, you make sure you got your mask on, yeah?
Where's the men's sub at?
Yeah, we're waiting for the kids to get off the field.
All right.
You can see where had he been correctly in the half space waiting for the play to develop in the stack fixo, he would have 6 more feet of space to completely exploit their gap. But as the case is, this is a 3 or 4 foot situation, even though it's a 2-on-1. So it's not great. But it should have scored probably. So they got lucky, and L was a foul. All right? So that's the idea behind the distribution, right? So basically, here's your box, and this is the situation we're trying to deal with in your box. That's the exact same situation, right? The O's have the ball, and how are they getting forward? Hey, Abdul, come on. And how are they getting forward is the question, right? So the next one, further down the field. So this is basically the weave, right? The weave, and this means this guy goes looking for the half spaces, looking for the vulnerabilities. This guy here is the shape interpreter, the Formdeuter, right? So they're either in a Boca, here, triangle, boom, 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 right? Or they cycle the ball using a screen, right? So he passes here, he follows his pass, he picks that guy, right? And eventually open up into a 3-1, 1-2-3 skewed, because this guy will be back in the half space, and there'll be a line of players here, right? It'll shape itself out, either Boca, 3 triangle, or a 3-1 skewed, some variation of a 3-1, right? That's what eventually will happen. You can just cycle all day. You know, in particular, Justin and Lucas will be very strong at that because they've been doing it for years in terms of taking care of the ball, right? So take your time, move the ball, right? And open up space. That's the idea, right? Now, if they have a box against our 3-1, we're eventually getting into a situation where there's no post player. This player is moving to the weakness in the formation and eventually getting to a spot where there is no post. So we're 4-0 or some version of a 4-0, 3-1 skewed, double stack fixo against their box, no post. So we have to know it's a 3-man front, we put the post in, 2-man front, no post. And this may be something to that effect here. Let me just see. Hang on one second, guys. I gotta plug the computer in. Hey, Abdul, could you help here? Thanks, buddy. Hurry, you're running out of battery, man. So there it is. There's the 3-man front against the post. That's pretty straightforward, right? That's what we're talking about in a nutshell, right? Post or no post. If we can run through and put them into a box, sometimes when you pass and you run through, well, then this guy here comes back and they're in a box, right? And you just put them in a box by where you run, right? And then once they're in a box, we remove the post. If they somehow rotate and get back into a 3-man front, then we put the post back in. So I'll be screaming post, no post. You know, some dudes thought it was funny last year, but that's just what it is. It requires the coach to talk a little bit, right? So they're 2-man front. There's a 3-man front. So they're definitely in a post. They're not in a post. They remove the post as a 2-man front. 2-man front, there's no post. And they follow. They follow their pass and they screen. Right? Sorry for the cheesy music. But again, it's 2-man front, no post. No post. Right? So you're either in a double fixo, 4-0, or a skewed. Pull back here and step up into a post. It's skewed. Not here. Skewed on the side. Skewed meaning on the side. Post on the side. Right? 2-man front, no post. Now, there's one hint is that if you have a weird feeling as the ball carrier here, that no one's running to space, it's because your job is to pass and move to space. Right? That's your job. So don't complain if you're the ball carrier, you have no one to pass to. It's because you didn't pass fast enough and you didn't move fast enough. So the guy makes the run vertical right away or sets up the screen. There's the 4-0. They feel the 2-man front, and there's the 3-1 skewed. They feel the 2-man front. They screen. You guys get it. But you guys can watch the video on your own time. That's it. You know, those are over and over again, the same thing. Right? So the rest about this is set up the 3-1 skewed. Quickly. Do not dribble. If you have a 3-man front and you do not have a post in position who's facing our goal, who can track down someone who steals the ball from you, do not dribble in a 4-0 no post position against a 3-man front. So it would be a constant call, not from the coach, but from the players on the field, as to what the feel is of the front. And we got to know what we're doing, right? So you can help each other out. These two diagrams, the same diagrams. The green is the options, right? So against a 3-man front, we're playing the post, and the weakness is here and here. Straightforward, right? Maybe even up here, right? So you pass the ball, and then you go vertical, if there's no pressure. If there's pressure, you play you go and you set a pick. That's standard 3-1 play, right? So the dynamic post refers to the read. 2-man front, no post. 3-man front, post. That's the dynamic post. Right? So the two teams you need to watch for that, the Argentinian national team and Boca Juniors, they'll be straightforward with that. So the concept of collapsing a 3-high zone. If they have 3, this player stepped up, right? And this player would be back here to start. What you do is you pass quickly either side, and you run through the zone to pick up a defender, and you drag him out of their 3-man front. So immediately, if they put a 3-man front in, we have to pass quickly and then run to see if it's zone or a real zone or man marking. If it's a real zone, we put the post in. If it's man marking, right, we're going to be able to put them in a box. We're going to put them in a 3-man front, and we'll just cycle back to be a 4-0, right? So sometimes they give you a 3-man look that's not a real 3-man look, right? So there's 3 looks. 2-man front, that's a real 2-man front with a zone. 3-man front, that's a real 3-man front with a zone press. And a fake 3-man front, which is a zone, but there's really a man mark assignment. This is a 4-0 against a 2-man front. So this is what it looks like. We're in distribution. For some reason there, they want to be cute and everyone shifts positions. But everyone now sees the line. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2-man front. Real 2-man front. There's no need to run through, right? So what we want to do is now we want to read pressure, no pressure. As the pass goes, if there's no pressure, as in this guy doesn't step to the pass, then you're going vertical. So this guy had the ball, he passes here. This guy's no pressure, he's going vertical. If this guy passes again, right, and he reads there's no pressure, he goes vertical. If there is pressure, he goes and sets a pick. He weaves. So it's a pressure, no pressure. So now the next step is we gotta know what the front is. 2-man, 3-man, 3-man fake, right? And then we gotta say pressure, no pressure, or go. If someone tells you to go, run straight up the field. Do not start in one tile, in one column, and end up in that tile, in that column. Don't drift left or right, even 3 feet. So for some reason, this guy read pressure, so he's going to set a screen. It's the wrong read, but even the pros get it wrong. But regardless, that's what the weave looks like. So he's going to read no pressure. Oh, he's going to read pressure. So you saw where he checked deep, and then he read pressure. So then they played the 1-2 behind, right? So that's just the read, pressure, no pressure.